The story begins with a man fending off against dozens of highly skilled masked ninjas. For a while, the unnamed man puts up a good fight but is eventually overpowered and brutally killed by one of the ninjas. The scene cuts and we see Joe Logan with his beautiful wife and son, who seems to love his kabuki mask. Joe loves his family more than anything and would do anything in his power to protect them from harm. However, his wife fears for her family after hearing the news of the brutal murder. From what we see, it appears that there's some connection between the murder victim and Joe Logan. Joe's wife, Sarah, talks about someone named the Reaper and fears they'll be caught. However, Joe assures Sarah that they're perfectly safe and no one can find them here. Days passed, and the masked killers struck again, claiming 3 more lives, each death more horrific than the last. Tragedy strikes when, one unfortunate night, the same ninjas infiltrate Joe's house with the intention of murdering him like their past victim. However, for them, it proved to be more than a simple walk in the park, as Joe effectively managed to counter their initial attacks. Eventually, Joe is overpowered and is left temporarily paralyzed. Joe can't even lift a finger when one of the ninjas brutally stabs Sarah through her neck. Joe's son, Ren, is also brutally murdered. Logan also dies but miraculously comes back to life and is currently in the hospital. Therein, Joe is approached by FBI agents Mike and Emma, who ask Joe if he knows who broke into his home and murdered his family. Joe refuses to talk, but Mike is convinced that Joe knows who is responsible for massacring his family. On the hospital roof, Joe is again attacked by the same ninjas, but this time, he brutally murders them like they were nothing. Some lost their limbs, while many were stabbed through the neck, just like Sarah. The moves Joe pulls prove that he is also, or should one say, used to be, a highly skilled ninja feared by many. When the dust settles, only Joe and the executor of his family exchange blows, and this time, brutally murders him. Before dying, Joe asks how the clan knew where he had been hiding. Joe also pulls out what appears to be his digital mask, showing us his real face. As the episode nears its end, Joe returns to his old house and breaks down the wall to take out his secret stash that contains the remnants of his past life. This includes his ninja blade and mask. Joe also burns down his house, hinting that he's planning on scorching his enemies the same. After that, the scene shifts to a clandestine ninja clan that operates in Japan. However, in light of a terrorist attack, the clan has to share their secret with foreign countries. The said ninja clan operates under a strict code that states any traitor or defector will be immediately killed, and from what we have seen so far, it appears that Joe, aka Higgins' family, was one such group. The scene cuts, and we see Higgin being treated by Kagari, an old friend who knows Higgin was part of a secret ninja clan. Higgin asks Kagari to treat him just enough so he can head to the next room and interrogate the ninja he has left alive for interrogation. After being able to walk, Higgin keeps torturing the man for intel, and when the man doesn't break, Higgin torches him like a marshmallow. Meanwhile, Mike is taken off the case after the hospital massacre and is warned of termination if he chooses to investigate further. However, Mike has no intention of backing down, and he tries to dig deeper into the enigma with his partner Emma. Mike and Emma find that Joe's family doesn't exist and aren't mentioned on any public record, which makes the case all the more enticing and complicated. On the other hand, Higgin tries his best to find any clue that can lead him to his enemy, but it is in vain. Eventually, with no choice left, Higgin decides to seek help from Detective Mike Morris. He calls Mike and asks for a meeting, saying he has some questions that need to be answered. Emma tries to track the location, but Higgin keeps disconnecting the calls, proving he has played this game before. Mike gives him a location, and the two meet again. Higgin asks Mike if he knows anything about the serial murders that have plagued the city. Mile tries to arrest him, but before he can do that, a ninja makes a jump on Higgin out of the blue. Mike tries to shoot the hostile ninja, but the latter cuts his fired bullets in half and also injures Mike. A battle ensues, and as expected, Higgin kills the ninja. Higan also reveals to Mike that he is Joe Logan and even puts on a digital visage using some sort of device. However, before they can talk further, a barrage of bullets and an RPG find them. The shop is reduced to ashes, but Mike is unharmed. As for Higan, he capitalizes on the chaos and leaves. After the scene, we see an aristocrat and his bodyguard being brutally murdered by what appears to be a dozen demons at hand. This was the work of a dwarf assassin sent to Master Yamazi, who, for his next target, suggests the name of Joe Logan, aka Higan. Yamazi talks about the exiles, saying the clan no longer sees them as ninja and is treating them like traitors and enemies the moment they defect. He says every single one of them should be killed immediately before the world comes to know about their secret. The suit-clad man asks the assassin to kill Higan, and the latter can't be happier, given Higan is one of the, or possibly the best ninja the clan has ever trained. Higan has mastered many combat styles and has successfully completed countless assassin missions, making him a legend among the likes of his. Master Yamazi conveys that they have already killed Higan once, but somehow, he came back to life, suspecting the usage of an ancient technique. As the episode progresses, we come across Zai, one of the most feared and corrupt ninjas, who draws great pleasure in murdering the exiles and defectors. Zai once fought against Higan but was badly defeated. Meanwhile, Mike sits for a heart-to-heart with his senior, who also happens to be his ex-partner. The man warns Mike not to dig any further, or he'll end up losing his job for no reason. Mike's ex-partner also says that he knows that Mike and Joe met last night in a downtrodden restaurant. However, this doesn't deter Mike a bit, and he subtly reveals that he knows AUZA, a big-shot company, is somehow connected with the case. As soon as the world escapes Mike's mouth, his partner gets distressed and leaves. At home, Mike revels to Higan that the blades that his assassins used to attack him are built from a special alloy, and the patent of the same alloy is held by AUZA. Mike also reveals that AUZA even has a hold on the FBI. Higan and Mike share a drink, suggesting that they'll both be investigating the case side by side. They also enlist Emma to aid them in the investigation. Emma, after a great deal of research, informs them that AUZA has their hands dipped in all sectors, be it military or telecommunications, they're everywhere. There are also rumors that anyone who poses a threat of mere inconvenience to the company doesn't live to see another day. They all die under mysterious and perplexing circumstances. The man we see at the start of the film is among those unfortunate people. As the episode progresses, Yamazi visits the company's CEO and warns him never to attack any of the ninjas, excommunicated or active, without his permission. Meanwhile, Higan and the others are attacked by a hooded ninja who unleashes an armada of rockets on him, but even he too is no match for Higan's skill and is killed. As the episode nears its end, Higan receives a call from a mysterious caller, and Higan's facial expressions suggest he knows who's on the other end of the call. The caller informs him that breaking into Oza City will be difficult due to its extensive security. The man claims to be in a similar situation as Higan, being an exiled ninja himself. He offers to help Higan and sends a location for them to meet if Higan is interested in completing his mission. The scene shifts to FBI agent Mike, who is haunted by a tragic memory from his past, the loss of his son. He is joined by Emma and Higan, and they discuss how to proceed with their investigation now that they are under scrutiny. Emma discovers a group on the dark web that has been monitoring Oz's activities. There are rumors that they are developing weapons capable of controlling nations. Mike urges Emma to step back due to the high level of danger, but she refuses, stating that she cannot let Higan and Mike take all the credit and action. Meanwhile, Oz's CEO is impressed to learn that Higan defeated their prototype warrior, which has been designed to handle an armada single-handedly. However, the CEO is undeterred and plans to gather more data to ensure that their prototype warriors can defeat Higan. As for Mike, Master Yamazi believes he is just a mere human and not a hindrance to their plan. When the time comes, Mike can easily be dealt with. Additionally, We see a flashback where, after completing their training, Higan, Jai, and Mari receive a secret art technique that should never be revealed to anyone under any circumstances. Yamatsu was also present at the ceremony. As the episode progresses, Higan arrives at the meeting point and finds himself on the other end of another call. The caller provides him with details on how exactly the security system of Oza City operates. The entire city is filled with cameras, sensors, and weaponized drones, and trespassers will be killed immediately. However, the caller gives Higan a route to enter the city without being detected. The caller also offers to hack all the internal security cameras and disable the electrical field once Higan is at the location. Despite facing a dozen guards and a barrage of bullets, Higan manages to enter the headquarters. However, as he approaches the electric field, he is pushed back. It is then that he sees Jai standing on the other side of the field. Thanks to watching. Subscribe for the next part.